Then I finished kind of my PhD, and I was writing up the process of writing up, finishing and submitting. At that time, I got a job, a full-time job in Ethiopia. So I moved there. I worked there for almost 3 years in law school. I taught undergraduate as well as postgraduate, means masters of law students. From there, I moved to Jindal Global Law School in India. I again taught their undergraduate, postgraduate, master degree law students for another almost 4 years. More recently, I moved to the American University of York in Baghdad. I teach only on the undergraduate program. That's my teaching and as well as my educational journey. From a research point of view, my doctoral thesis was in the area of intellectual property law, more of interdisciplinary, means looking into intellectual property law from an other disciplinary background, like ideas and theories from globalization or political economy. So it is a kind of mix of theory, different theories, and law, how these different disciplines they influence each other, and how intellectual property law became kind of globalized. More focusing in the area of biotechnology, new biotechnological inventions, how they are protected, how global intellectual property law protects those new types of inventions. That was my PhD research. However, when I became a teacher, means full-time lecturer or professor, I moved into international trade law, also taught international investment law. So somehow when I started teaching those subjects, my research also kind of started shifting. So as you sometimes call it research and teaching must go together. The way you teach, your teaching must be kind of supported and influenced by your research. So I also started looking into some issues in the area of international trade law, investment law. So currently I'm working on two projects. One is in the area of international trade law, and another more broadly, we call it law and development, means how law or what role law plays in the development process, whether that is economic development, social development, cultural development. So it's broadly called law and development. It's a very specific area of study within the broad legal study. So that is another project that I'm working right now, focusing on Indonesia. More specifically, it looks into internally displaced persons, means those are called IDPs, means those are displaced from their home due to different development projects. Okay, so that is focusing on Indonesia, how some development projects in Indonesia actually push different people, communities from their home and force them to move another place. What are the implications? What are the impacts? How human rights law actually comes into play in those kind of displacement issues. So that is the two projects I'm working on currently. And based on my research project, I have been appointed as a research fellow and adjunct professor at a School of Law, Faculty of Law here, University of Sumatra. And I'm here for 2 weeks here to kind of maybe engage in some activities here with the students, also carrying out my research, collecting some data for the project. So that's a brief introduction about why I am here, what exactly I'm doing here. Now, today I will basically discuss about how to write a good research paper. Now, as you know, almost all of your PhD students and your supervisors are here, so you always get guidance how to carry out the research, how to write a good dissertation or PhD thesis or write a paper for probably for publication. So I'll kind of discuss more broadly, not just focusing on or only on publication. They are two separate processes. So dissertation is one thing, writing research paper for publication is a different thing. It completely different. Okay. But the process of research is quite similar. So in case of publication, when you want to publish, you need to consider or keep in mind certain other things. And when you are writing a dissertation, whether LM or PhD, there are certain other criteria that you need to keep in mind or fulfill in order to get your PhD degree. So writing a dissertation does not always lead to publications because, as I say, a publication, in order to publish, it requires some different criteria, some different aspects of the publication process. You need to understand how the publication process works. And nowadays, as you know, now there's a journal business. There are many journals where nowadays anyone can publish, but you also need to think about what exactly you want to publish and what exactly the value of publishing, right? So I will kind of speak very broadly. Then you can ask me questions anytime. And if you want to discuss your paper, which probably you are writing, or any challenges you are facing in your paper, how exactly you want to do it, even you can kind of bring it, you can ask me as I discuss the points that we need to keep in mind. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we have to share your.
Yeah. So I basically looked into how to write a good research paper from a publications point of view. Oops. From a publications point of view, because publication is a limited endeavor, means if you want to publish your paper, you need to fulfill the conditions, the criteria described by the journal you want to publish. But when it comes to dissertation, with a master's or PhD, which is a more lengthy piece of writing. So if you're writing a master's dissertation, maybe 15,000 words or 20,000 words, sometimes it can be a little bit more or less. If you're writing a PhD dissertation, which is generally in the UK from 80,000 words to 100,000 words. So in the UK, that's the requirement. Also, when it comes to dissertation, you also need to keep in mind the originality of your research, how original your research. So that's one of the most important criteria of getting a PhD degree, that you need to demonstrate the originality of your research. When it comes to journal publication or publishing a paper in a journal, it doesn't always have to be original. You just need to show how your research, how your paper is interesting. Is your paper is interesting to others? Is it talks about or looks into an interesting idea, something unique, something new? It doesn't always need to be original because there are different types of journals or different types of articles. So which I will really talk about later. This can be a research article, it can be a review article, it can be a short piece of writing, which doesn't really need to be original all the time. So there are different types. That also depends what exactly you want to publish. Do you want to publish a research paper, research article? Do you want to write a review article, or do you want to write a case note or a book review or a short research report? So that depends on you, what exactly you want to publish. So firstly, I have kind of highlighted here briefly that some of the points you need to keep in mind as you think about writing a research paper. Sometimes this process of writing does not really work in a similar way for everyone. So everyone is unique. Everyone has his or her way of writing, way of organizing. Yeah.
Excuse me, Miss, the slide is not moving in the Zoom.
Oh, it's not moving?
No.
Wait.
Maybe.
Right. Have to see.
Or maybe on, yeah,
So probably, if you go out of this full screen, to go on a
Yes,
slideshow, then probably will move.
it's okay,
it's okay.
it's okay now.
So now, okay. So if you just go back to the previous slide,
The second slide?
the previous. So here I mentioned some of the states that you can, as I said, that sometimes the states does not really happen one by another, because different students, different researchers have different ways of doing this research. But generally, these steps can be followed, whether if you follow them sequentially or if you follow them somehow in your research process. So just to give you an example, some researchers write the abstract of the research quite later. But some researchers, once they finish their research, they start writing the abstract or decide the keywords. But some researchers, they keep it for the end. Once they finish writing, they finish drafting, then they go back and then write the abstract. Or then decide the keywords. But for some other people, for example, I sometimes write the abstract in the beginning because it gives me a focus that what exactly the abstract I have written. So I will move in that direction. I will not go out of it. So it works different for different researchers. But generally, the process involves all points. So first of all, choosing a topic, as you know, because of almost all of your doing PhD, so you have already chosen a topic, you're already working on a topic for a long time, and start writing already. But it begins with choosing a topic. A topic must be interesting, something that appeals to others. Now, as I say, that there's a difference between writing a journal, writing for a journal, and writing your PhD thesis. So in a PhD thesis, your topic, you will find out, or you have already found that your supervisor is always telling you, narrow down the topic. The topic is too broad. This narrow down, narrow down. It works in a similar way for a journal publication. The topic must be very narrow, very focused, looking at a specific issue or a problem. However, what happens is that sometimes topic can change. So in a PhD thesis, you cannot you cannot change your topic. But when it comes to journal writing, if you have chosen a topic, but you are not feeling interested anymore after reading and reading, you can immediately change the topic. But that doesn't work in a dissertation. You chose a topic, you have to start working on it, you have to work on it. So slight modification can happen, slight changes can be made. Now, another second aspect is brainstorming. So this is a stage or a process which many of us actually do without understanding or without knowing. So what exactly is a brainstorm? How exactly we do the brainstorming? Okay. Then I will briefly talk about all those things, narrowing down the topic that you're familiar already. Your supervisor is always telling you narrow down, narrow down. In case of journal publishing, that also works in a similar way. A tentative title. So sometimes in your dissertation, I don't know how dissertation writing works here, but generally in the UK, most universities they change and modify your title in the last moment. In the last moment to submit your PhD thesis. You have a tentative title, but you can change it anytime depending on the research in the process as we progress, read and write, revise. edit, your title can change in the end. It can be something very different from what you began. So it can be something very different. And that's happened or happened to most of the students, most of the researchers. Research questions. So research, without research questions, you cannot really narrow down your topic. Without research questions, you cannot really decide what sources or materials you need to actually look into to write your research. What exactly you want to read, or what kind of data you need, whether you need books, scholarly journals, articles, whether you need empirical data, all those resources will be depending on the research questions, what questions you are trying to answer. An outline, sometimes many researchers do not really go for outline, but generally we suggest to research students, can we have or can you prepare an outline of your research so that we can see where exactly you are starting, how you are progressing, and where exactly you are going, you are moving in what direction. So we ask students to prepare an outline of the research. Then type of research, as I said, drafting. Drafting is a completely separate process, and it's which is the most complex process of drafting. And many of you already, as I just got to know that many of you actually started writing or drafting. As I said, the last from 9 to 14, they are the end process. Once you finish drafting, then these processes actually start. The writing the abstract, few keywords, referencing and bibliography, revising, editing, rewriting, selecting a journal, and submission. So all these processes are actually quite complicated and quite lengthy process. Now, one of the first processes that the topic. And many of you already chose your topic, you are working on that topic, but sometimes we get to know from students or the challenge we face as a researcher, how exactly to look into a topic or decide a topic. The topic, as I said, must be interesting. So if you are writing a dissertation, that is completely fine. But if you want to publish for a journal and you are thinking about a topic that this is a topic which is very interesting, I want to write about it, then obviously you need to think about a topic that you can write in depth. Means there are many students I have found that they chose a topic initially, but when they started researching, they came to me and said that they are not getting enough materials, resources of the topic. Now, if there are, so sometimes we call it research is a cumulative process. Means we stand on the shoulder of others. That what exactly have been done by others previously. So if there are no research have been conducted or no resources, no materials are available on a particular topic, then we say maybe research is not interesting at all, the topic is not interesting at all, or the topic is too complex to carry out research. We ask the students choose a different topic because research is a cumulative process. We stand on the shoulders of others, what others have done, and we develop on that work. So sometimes what happens that you need to choose a topic which you can actually explore in detail, in depth. Means there are enough material, enough resources exist on the topic. If limited or no materials exist, then you will definitely face challenges. For example, you might have to collect empirical data, which is not always easy, considering the time you have, considering the resources you have, considering the ethical permission or ethical approval you need to carry out ethical research. Those kind of challenges are there. The supervisors generally suggest that choose a topic where you can find some materials, and then you go through those materials to identify the shortcomings, a problem with those previous existing research. so that you can develop on it. You can take the research in a different direction. And you can say that okay, the previous research is not conclusive. Means the results which are published are does not give enough details or does not prove sufficiently what exactly the problem is. And therefore, I want kind of develop on that research. I want to take it in a different direction, using a different theory, using a different method, using probably bringing arguments from base laws. So in different ways you can do that. So topic is very important, must be interesting, must be narrow, must be specific, must be there must be adequate resources available on the topic. So the topic is the first thing you need to keep in mind. As I said in the end, it must be manageable. So you can manage. As you know, doctoral PhD research is generally for 3 years, 4 years. Those who are doing part-time, they can carry out for 5 years, maybe 6 years or 7 years. But generally, the understanding is that the more longer you carry out with your research, the likelihood is that the research will not be completed. That's the understanding. So you choose a topic, you narrow it down so that it becomes manageable. Not only that, if you want to publish for a journal, how much time you want to devote for writing a journal article, which is generally for 6,000 to 10,000 words, right? If you want to publish an article, then the requirement is 6,000 to 10,000 or 12,000 maximum. So how much time exactly you want to devote to write an article? Not 1 year or 2 year or 3 year, right? So if you have limited time, maybe 3 months or maybe 4 months or 6 months, you want to devote and write it and publish, because the more you keep it, the topic becomes outdated. The time you finish it after 1 year, after 1.5 years, you finish the research and writing. By the time the topic and the issue of the problem you are looking into, it has already become outdated. Means many other researchers have already written on it, and therefore your research has no value. Then you simply wasted your time writing it, because no good journal is going to publish it anymore, because there is no, in the review process, the reviewers will highlight that many people have actually written on it. There is nothing new in this paper. So already written. So that is one of the challenge you will find if you do not choose a topic which is manageable, either for a journal 3 months to 6 months, and PhD 3 years, 4 years. Even I can give you an example from my PhD research. So initially, when I chose a topic, my supervisor used to always tell me narrow it down. Initially, my plan was to carry out field research in India and other countries. My supervisor, after 3 years, she told me I do not have any more time to carry out any field research. Just remove the field research part, just look into different theoretical aspect and write it, because you do not have enough time to do it. Because if I go for a field research at that time, then I will take longer to finish it, which is difficult. Means if every university has a time limit, in that time you have to finish it. Okay. Now, as I said, the brain is turning. Now, I have kind of broken down, so it's a very difficult process, and many times we actually do it ourselves without understanding that we are exactly doing it. Now, I have kind of broken down into a number of aspects. So, first of all, I said explore the problem, not the topic. So you have chosen a topic, but topic can be broad. Let's say, I'll mention somewhere later. Let's say you want to research on illegal migration means those who are migrating to other countries illegally. Now, more recently in the Europe, illegal migration became a very contentious, very controversial issue. Means many poor people were migrating from Africa to Europe, like Italy, France, Spain, crossing the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? Now, if you are interested to kind of look into the issue of illegal migration is a very broad problem. Illegal migration is happening everywhere. In Europe, in Asia, in Indonesia, it's happening in Thailand, in Malaysia, everywhere, in India, everywhere, right? This is a very broad topic, right? Now, if you focus on the topic, then it becomes too broad. But if you focus on the problem, that is illegal migration a problem? You will say, yes, it is a problem. In many countries. Okay? So that is one way of looking at not as a topic, but you look to what problem you want to investigate. Now, second aspect is who is your reader? So in case of dissertation, your reader is very limited. Your supervisor, maybe your co-supervisor, maybe your friends, colleagues, your professors. But when you write for a journal, your reader is wide. Once you publish, once it is out, you cannot control it anymore. Your dissertation will remain within the university or in the university library, depository. Very few people will access it, read it. But journal, once it is published, nowadays, the web, internet, it goes everywhere. Anyone can read it. So consider very carefully who exactly your reader, whom you are targeting, who is your audience. So if you are writing for illegal migration, what issue, problem you want to investigate, focus on, and then also think about who exactly is going to read your paper. Not everyone. So someone interested in property law, not going to read your paper on migration, right? So you have to target your audience, who exactly is going to be your reader. What is your sorry, exactly you want to achieve? Like you're writing your dissertation. You want what exactly you want to achieve? You want to get a PhD degree. So when you're writing for a journal, you also have to think about the purpose. What exactly you want to achieve through writing or publishing your article? You want to get academic credibility. You want to show your reader that you have conducted a very interesting research, something new, something unique. So think about it. Who are you, the writer? Now, sometimes, as I say, that we all have personality. We all have personality, right? Now, many of you heard about different types of research carried out in law, social legal research, critical legal research, law and economics research, empirical legal research, right? Nowadays, post-colonial legal research, law and artificial intelligence. So these are types of research that carried out in the law. The type of research you carry out and the paper you publish also reveals your personality. Is what exactly you want to show the world. Are you a critical researcher? Are you a socio-legal researcher? Are you an interdisciplinary researcher? Think about it. What kind of personality you want to project to the world? As for example, when I chose my dissertation, when I was writing my dissertation, I kind of understood I wanted that I want to establish myself as a critical legal researcher. And accordingly, I chose a very specific theory, very specific theoretical understanding, or very specific literature, very specific ideas that I brought into my research. Because that's the way I want to project myself, that I'm a critical legal researcher. And as you know, that you all belong to a community, right? Academic community. Within the academic community, there are divisions. Some researchers, academics, they like to call themselves feminist legal right, because they want to belong to that community. The community, academic community, who think about women's life problems, issues, they want to look into law, critically analyze the law, how law affects a women. So by projecting yourself or through your writing, you want to become a member of a specific community. So that's the way, I mean, you think about that, what exactly I want to become, how exactly I want to establish myself, in which area. Am I want to become a critical legal researcher, a feminist, legal scholar, or a social legal researcher, or I want to bring some post-colonial ideas into my research. So you think about it. And that's a process in how you make your topic or the research more unique, more different from others. Make your goals operational, how you can achieve your goal, what exactly you need to do to achieve the goal that you want to become. Finishing your research, publishing it, okay, you want to become a member of a specific legal community. Okay. So you need to achieve what exactly you need to achieve that goal. Whether you need to kind of borrow some ideas from other disciplines, or you want to simply look into changing the law, and therefore you will only look into legal problems, legislation, case laws, codes. So depending on what exactly your purpose, you will also become focused on that resources, that questions, so it becomes more manageable for you. Can you make a plan? Now, planning obviously is a difficult part. All things do not really work according to the plan. But still, if you can make a rough plan on paper, this is where I want to start. I need to do this, and by this timeline, I want to finish it and make it publishable. So if you have a plan, at least you can move in that direction rather than going here and there. So it's more like travel. So if you want to travel to Jakarta, if you have a plan that how you will travel to Jakarta, you can reach Jakarta within time more easy. But if you go to let's say Samosir, and then from there another place, just simply rounding, it will take more time for it. Okay, so the research works in a similar way. If you have a plan, you move in that direction. Do not move here and there, you will simply waste your time. Now, by doing this, exploring the problem, it will generate some ideas. Okay, this is okay, this is the problem I want to look into, this is more interesting problem. Many other researchers have not looked into this problem, so I should look into this problem. So you generate some ideas. Then again, you start thinking that you start writing. Have a not like more organized writing, but just noting down your ideas on paper. That okay, this is I read something, I left put down on paper, because if you not write, you forget. You read something else come to your mind, and you move into a different direction. Okay. So you write down, then it remains on paper, you can go back and you can look into it. That this is what I read. Okay, I should keep my focus on it. Don't censor or evaluate. Don't judge yourself. Because we all researcher. Okay. We have gone through a similar process at one time in our life. So don't think that okay, you are failing, you are unable to do, it's not progressing. That happens to everyone. And it happened to all of us. Okay? Just keep going. Do not really judge yourself that your writing is not good. You are not coming up with any new ideas. Just keep going. Don't evaluate yourself. That the stage of evaluation has not come yet. That is later. Keep returning to the problem. Whatever the problem you are looking into, keep going back. This is what I thought. This is what I wrote. But now I am doing this. Now something else came to my mind. Shall I stick to my previous problem, or shall I move into a different direction? That is your judgment. You can think about it. Okay? What exactly? Because as a researcher, you know best that what is unique you are exploring, what new ideas, new arguments you can bring out about your research. Your supervisor or another professor, or is simply a guide. They are simply to guide me to help you that you should not go that way. You should stay there. You should move in that direction. Only to help you, but it is me who needs to make a decision, who needs to walk on it. Talk to your reader. Sometimes it is helpful if you speak to your professor, if you speak to your supervisor, your colleagues, discussing your research, discussing your ideas, having conversation, having dialogue. That can help refine your ideas, refine your arguments. Your colleagues, your friends, your professors can give you some ideas which you might be, oh, okay, I haven't thought about it. I should think about, I should read more about it. Or that is something I never think about. I should think about it. So that's the way you keep progressing, refining your ideas and narrowing down, revising your ideas. All these things happen in your mind, but maybe not according to a specific plan. It just happens.
Okay, so maybe you discussing or something else.
Yeah, so if they have, as I said, if they have question, they can ask me. No problem.
Okay.
Anytime. So if any particular any aspect they are unable to understand, they say, okay, can I please explain this particular part, or I am unable to understand this aspect, can you please ask, can you please explain or elaborate? I'm happy to do it. Yeah.
Maybe we have to. Maybe I like to discuss again. Yes. So we have to go to the discuss on the how to ask the all student how the dissertation and anything. You can.
Yeah, so maybe it's on just 3 p.m. Okay, so maybe I speak another 15-20 minutes. Okay, so that will give us 30 to 40 minutes to discuss about the process, the writing process, what they're going through, what are challenges they are facing. Is that okay?
Is it okay?
Yeah, giving 30 to 40 minutes.
40 minutes. For 4 minutes.
No, so right now is 3 p.m. I speak for another 15 to 20 minutes. And then we have till 4 p.m., right?
15 minutes because I already asked, got a message, questions from my students already.
Okay.
Was to
15 minutes, and then we can move
Yes.
to
Yes.
more discussion.
Yes.
So here I have mentioned that what kind of questions you should ask, like to define. So here is a kind of more like journalistic questions, like who, what, where, when, why, how, so forth. Now here I give an example. How can I frame the questions? Just giving an example. Who are illegal migrants? First question. What makes them illegal? Where they are coming from? Why they are migrating illegally? How they are migrating? Now, if you have answer for all this, or maybe you are reading literature, you are reading material resources, and last question is, so what? Do you have something else to say? Or simply you are saying what others have said? Or do you have something else to say? Or do you want to say something different what others have not said? And that's why many times, if you submit an article to a journal, sometimes we think that I have written a brilliant piece of article or a manuscript. And then when it comes back with the reviewers' comments and feedback, then it becomes an idea. The type of comments and for your information, if you submit to a good journal, like Q1, Q2, sometimes the comments come, they're absolutely ruthless. Ruthless comments. They don't care who you are. Okay? Because they're anonymous. Okay? So reviewers don't know your name. Okay? They don't care about who you are because the names are not there. So they're absolutely ruthless in terms of writing their comments. Okay? And sometimes the way they write give their comments, they are kind of maybe I should not use those terms because we are also sometimes we also do review manuscripts for journals. They are demoralizing science. So demoralize the way they give their comments that there's nothing new here, nothing new. It's all done, all said. That's the way it comes. Not directly, but indirectly that's the okay. So that's why the question is so what. So have you, after reading or ask this question, you chose a topic, you carry out your initial research, you gather materials, resources, you read them, then ask these questions. Last in the end, so what? Do you have something else to say? Something new to say? That's the question you should ask me. If you think that yes, I have something else to say, you are in the right direction. You are going to write a good piece of research, whether a paper or a presentation. Anything?
Okay. So wait.
Yeah, so this is, I think I should not, go into detail, but I just, briefly point out the process. Something called stasis theory. This theory came from ancient Greek and then developed by Roman philosophers and Jews. They pointed out that there are four questions or four steps or aspects. If you think about, you somehow you become more confident, you become more on the right track to carry out your research. First of all, what are the facts? You chose a topic, you decided you were looking into a problem. What are the facts? What exactly is happening? What happened? Okay. What is going on about the problem? We look into those facts. Like, I get the example of illegal migration. What are the facts? Is illegal migration a global issue? If yes, what are the data? What are the statistics? How much people are illegally migrating around the world? So facts must be there. Second was definition. What is the definition? What is the meaning of who is an illegal migrant? Is there a legal definition? Is the definition correct? Is there a problem with the definition? Who gave the definition? You can, if you think there's a problem, you identify something interesting. Third one, quality. Is the issue serious? Is the illegal migration issue of illegal migration a serious issue? If yes, then how serious the issue is? What kind of challenges, problems, issues countries are facing because of illegal migration? So how serious the problem is, quality. And the policy, what policies exist in a specific country, globally, regionally, what are the law? What the law says about illegal migration? Does law prohibit? If law prohibits, why doesn't the law work? Why is not functioning? Then what kind of changes need to be made? That kind. So they argue that if you think about these four aspects in a research, that leads you to something very unique, some problem or identify a problem that can lead you to something new, something interesting, something unique. You can find out. Okay. So you can move So I will share slides later. You can go through more detail how it is actually. So it's a step-by-step process. More questions you can ask, you can frame more questions, you can keep on asking questions, and ultimately it leads you to something different, something new, something new. Yeah, please move on. Okay, now narrowing on the topic. So I have kind of mentioned that to supervisor, I'm sure always telling you narrow down, it's too broad. You cannot manage. So here is a kind of how to narrow down. You can say, for example, if you are looking into the issue of illegal migration, you can look into a specific country from where exactly the migrants are coming, which country they are going. Okay. You can look at a specific place. For example, in Indonesia, many regions and places illegal migrants are coming. So in terms of narrowing down, you can look into, let's say, for example, only in America. So you narrow down. You are focusing the issue of illegal migration only in America. So that can narrows down. Okay? You can still further narrow down by focusing on a specific group, either women, minority people who are belonging to a specific religion, specific group, community, by focusing on them, further narrowing down, you can look at the specific legal issues, their right to shelter, right to food, what kind of issues, legal issues are involved. You can look into a specific legal issue. Legal regimes, are you looking into domestic law only? What are the Indonesian law talks about illegal migration? Or whether you also want to look into regional law, what laws exist at the Asian level? Or are you also wanting to into the international human rights regime? What international human rights are talks about? So you can narrow down in that, slowly moving from a general to a more specific problem, a specific issue. You can also look into different human rights mechanisms or the problems with those mechanisms. Once you go through human rights documents, the human rights documents talks about different rights, responsibilities, protections of migrants. You can choose one very specific legal protection from the document, and you can start exploring, elaborating, and focusing on it. That's the way, some way, you can narrow down your problem. Okay, yeah. So, okay. Now, as you have, moving on, you kind of, narrow down your topic. Now, you need to kind of have a tentative title, as I said. Now, when you are writing a dissertation, your title doesn't yet have to be very specific and accurate, depending on what your law school permits. If your law school permits it, then fine, you can revise your title slowly and come to a more accurate title by that time or by the end of your research. If it doesn't, then obviously you need to kind of work with the title you have decided. But when it comes to journal writing or publishing for a journal, you can, as I said, change your title, revise your title till the end, till the time you submit. Now, an accurate title, I have given some example, describe rather than ask. So generally, the idea is that sometimes in the title, we should not put a question mark, because question mark limits your title, because you're simply asking a question, a single question problem. So make it more descriptive, that describes something, describe the problem. So I have given an example, law and economic development, a new beginning. So you can see the title is very restrictive, only a new beginning, the question mark. On the other hand, the other title is international investment and colonial control, a new interpretation. So the author looks into much more broadly that what is the relationship or connection between the international investment law and the colonial type of control that functions in the area of international investment law. That kind of more broad, more descriptive. Include key details. Read your research carefully. What exactly you are copying, what exactly you are focusing on, what exactly you research. Focus on the choose some words or phrases that appropriately describes your research. Choose them and include them in the title. So I have given two examples here. From developing countries to emerging markets, a changing role of law in the world. So you can see developing countries, emerging markets, changing role of law, hard work. So you can clearly understand what the author is trying to focus or trying to say in the article. Be concise as possible, as much as possible. Try to be concise, because generally research has found that a title which is more than 30 words are not really read and cited. And this is not my word. This has been kind of revealed through research. That a title which is more than 30 words, readers tend not to read them and cite those type of articles in their research. So try to be very concise, short, meaningful, accurate title. If it is short, then others will read who are willing to read it. And also, when you read it, you will think, okay, I want to probably cite or refer to this article in my research. So try to be very concise. I have given an example here. the coloniality of international investment law in the Commonwealth held. It's a one sentence short or title, not very long. So in the one sentence, the author tried to kind of communicate what the research or what the article is all about. Can you move on?
Okay.
Sometimes if you choose your words wisely, sometimes if you use some uncommon words but more fun, more interesting, that attracts the attention of the reader. So here says law in development on tapping, boarding, and serving palm wine. So the author talks about law and development and then kind of use certain words and terms, making it more interesting so that reader will immediately become interested to read the article. Why law and development and then talking about palm wine. Okay? So it becomes more interesting. That kind of more clever choice of words in the title. Make it more structured. Okay? So think about choosing some keywords that readers probably will use to search research materials so that your titles become more available to other readers. And if you want, once you write your title, go to Google or go to Google Scholar and start searching, start using the words you have chosen. So if you have chosen a specific word in your title, search that word on Google. That there are many other writings or papers are coming or showing on Google. If you think that okay, many other papers are showing on the same keyword, then you are in the right direction. That yes, when people will search or use a specific keyword, they will find your paper on Google. So that is another strategy. Several options. This is also I do in my writing. So when I start writing and I'm writing, I write two, three titles. One title, the second or this or this. So because I'm not yet sure what title should be appropriate. So I write two, three titles or alternative. By the time I finish writing, then I decide okay, which one going to be more appropriate for my product. Sometimes it also helps that rather than having one title, if you write two key titles, then you can decide in the end that which title describes your research more accurately, more appropriately. Okay, so this is where I stop because then I can as you ask questions, then I can go back and kind of discuss something because I'm getting more time for this.
Okay, so it's time to discussion right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Q&As.
Yeah, Q&A, Q&A and answer questions. Wait. Stop. Okay, to all the participants, please make questions. Share question. Open your sounds and mute. Anyone? Maybe all the participants in here want to ask questions.
I'm ma'am Nur Hilmia.
Okay. Maybe the offline participant first.
Yeah.
Bu Nur Hilmia. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your lecture, Honorable Sir Mizanur Rahaman. Welcome to Indonesia. Welcome to Medan. Thank you to the USU Law Doctoral Study Program for organizing this event. I'm Mia. What you said in your slide, yeah, in my opinion, is new input from me. On your second slide, it was displayed about points to keep in mind. There are 14 points. I realized that all this time I have been going through the reverse process. Yeah, usually I select a journal first and then adjust the draft accordingly, template or author guidelines in the journal. And I'm wrong. I realized that just now because your lecture. Thank you, sir. Next, It may sound a little technical. I want to ask you, what is your opinion about what should we do if after submitting our manuscript of paper, our dashboard account in that open journal system suddenly cannot be opened again. The statement says 404 not found. I have tried sending emails and WhatsApp text message to the journal editor, but unfortunately, there was no response. Meanwhile, if I send the same paper manuscript to another journal, I'm worried about publication ethics. Please explain, sir. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So the second question, I think about that, she submitted a manuscript to a journal,
Yeah,
but not receiving any response.
yeah, there is no response, but she's afraid if he sends to another journal, he can get a publication ethic. So how to resolve this?
Well, I think every journal has their own policies about the review process. So you need to really read the journal policy, and that's I was kind of going to explain later. That's selecting a journal. How you select? And nowadays, thousands of journals. I think I was reading somewhere that every 40 seconds, an article is published nowadays. Every 40 seconds, a new article is published. So you can imagine how many journals and how much manuscripts are submitted and published.
Yeah.
Now, interesting, whether you call it interesting or unfortunate, the number of manuscripts are submitted, 50% get rejected. 50% is only published. So that is whether you call it interesting or unfortunate. That's up to you, or you can make sense of it. Now the problem is that some journals have their own policies about the review process. Some journals take 4 weeks, some take 6 weeks, some take 8 weeks, some even takes 12 weeks. So you need to really read the journal policy carefully. That do I really want to submit my paper to these journals because they will take, let's say, 4 months to simply review. Some journals, they take 4 months to review and then another 6 months publish. So recently, not recently, 2 months back, I was writing to a journal that I'm interested to publish my paper or submit my paper. The journal, they told me that till 2025, all issues are booked. Means all issues are filled. Means if I submit, it will go to the review process. If it is selected, it will be published in 2026. By the time my research will come out. So you need to make a very conscious decision how quickly you want to publish, whether you want to publish your paper in the next 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Read the journal policy very carefully. Okay? And the problem she has faced, probably looking into the editorial board. Okay? So nowadays, as I said, many journals, very spurious editorial board. Those, simply mentioning the name, but probably none of those people actually work as editors of the journals. It's just simply to publicize the journal to make it, look attractive. But those names or those academics probably do not exist at all. Okay? So reading the editorial board, who are the members of the editorial board? Think about the credibility of those editorial board members. Are they coming from credible, well-known universities, or are they coming from some universities which you never heard about? Okay? Coming from like a country called Lesotho, a small country in Africa, landlocked small. So you should think about it. Someone is on the editorial board coming from Lesotho. What is the credibility of that journal might be, right? So, probably she submitted the paper. Probably, no one checked the email. The email address might be outdated. no one is checking in, no one is responding. So in that case, I will say if she has written that I have submitted my paper, let's say 1 month or 2 months before, I haven't received any response yet. In that case, obviously, there is no ethical issues in terms of withdrawing the paper. And you can simply write to the journal one more email that since I haven't received any reply from you, I am withdrawing my paper. I have done it. In the sense that when I submit my paper, no response, I'm waiting for 3 months, and then suddenly after 4 months, a reply came that your paper is accepted, which is a good thing. But I said, no, I don't want to publish it because since I did not receive any reply within the time frame you mentioned, I started revising the paper and expanding the paper. I don't want to publish it now in that way. So I'm employing that paper. So you can definitely do that. So that was the second question. So I don't think that there is any ethical issue withdrawing the paper. You can simply withdraw the paper. You can write to them that, okay, I haven't received any reply from you. I'm withdrawing the paper. You submit it another journal. No issues at all. And what was the first question?
First questions. This is the yeah, Bu Nur Hilmiah. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. I think selama ini saya tuh ini bikin jurnalnya dulu, cari jurnalnya dulu, baru yang tadi yang di second slide about points to keep in mind, there are 14 points. Jadi saya cari jurnal dulu, baru bikin Mizanur membuka pikiran saya bahwa ternyata harusnya bikin dulu baru cari jurnal seperti itu.
Oh, I see. That's the point that is.
Yes. Number 13, selecting a journal.
Yeah, selecting a journal. So as I said already explained, I would say the process that exactly what I do is that once I finish writing or still I'm writing, okay? So I kind of do the process from the beginning, and there is a reason for it because I have mentioned later in the slide that when it comes to referencing, writing the bibliography and formatting requirements, every journal has their own policy.
Yes.
So once you start writing or thinking about writing, you can keep simultaneously think about what journal you want to start, rather than waiting till the end. So that you have, so I try to keep in mind, okay, this is the term my paper will fit in this journal. So I keep on searching different journals. What I do is that please read the scope of the journal. In every journal has a scope and aim and a scope. Read the aim and scope. And try to think about whether the paper you are thinking to write or writing or you have finished, whether your paper fits within the aim and the scope of the journal. When I write, I read the aim and the scope and I immediately decide my paper will not fit into this journal. I will not submit there because if I submit there, there's a great chance that they will reject it. So that doesn't mean that my paper is bad. That doesn't mean that my paper is not publishable. It's because every journal has their scope. There are sometimes, as academic community, our ideas are influenced by ideology. Okay? So if I submit, as I said, I write from a critical perspective. And if I submit a critical writing to a journal, let's say Cambridge Law Review or Cambridge Law Journal, which is a very positivistic approach. They are very much, positivistic understanding, looking very specifically the legal problem, codes and laws. They will definitely not like my paper. So they will immediately reject. So I will obviously never submit to those channels. Please read the aim and the scope of the paper very carefully. And then think about the paper you wrote, whether your paper, the ideas, the arguments, your approach fits within the aim and the scope of the journal. Select that journal friendly, and you will have better chance of accepting your. Second aspect is that look to the editorial board. Every journal has an editorial board member. You read their names, where they're coming from, which universities. If those universities are well-known universities, people know their names, people know the academics, their names. So that also makes the journal credible. Means that if you can publish in that journal, your paper will be read by many others because you have published in a very well-known, highly rated journal. Because nowadays, as I said, thousands of journals, many of those journals publish, many people do not even know their name, many people do not even read them. So think about the quality of your paper, the quality of the journal, and you can decide by looking into the nowadays there are so impact factor, whether the journal is indexed in Scopus, whether the journal is in a Q1, Q2, Q3 journal, whether a journal is a journal falls within the ABC category, those kind of things are done. So again, depending on what paper you have written, you can think about selecting a well-known journal in that way. Look into their review process policy. How long will it take to review? 2 months, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and they will decide that whether you want to publish your paper more quickly or you are fine to wait for 3 months, 4 months, or even 6 months. Because accepting your paper does not mean your paper will be published immediately, because every journal has a slot issue. So they decide that these 6 articles will be published in the next issue. Then another 6 will be published in the next issue. So they put your article, even accepted, on a slot by slot basis. Okay? So maybe it will take 1 year to publish, to get your paper published. Think about it. So in that way, you can decide that which journal I should select for submitting my paper. Another important aspect I think about when I consider is that many times I read, let's say I read some journal articles, some articles from a specific journal. And I like the articles, the types of articles they are publishing, and I like them. So, and my paper is quite similar to those articles. I will think, okay, that means that if I submit my article to that journal, there's a great chance of accepting my paper because my paper or my manuscript is similar to the types of articles published by a journal. So there's a more chance of accepting my paper in that journal. Okay, so in that way, you can narrow down the journal or you can select 2, 3, 4 journals I'm considering. And another point I have mentioned why I search for journals even before I finish, because I want to make sure the requirements of the journal, because every journal has a citation, referencing requirement, the preparation of the bibliography, the specific format, citation style, whether it's Oscula, whether it's a Harvard style, whether it's a Blue Book, whether it's a Chicago style. So every journal has a specific format, and you will find in the author's instruction. So every journal has a section called author's instruction or author's submission. Okay? In that section, you will find a kind of maybe 4, 5 pages or 7 pages document. It will mention all the requirements you need to do. So when I'm writing the paper, I start following them even from the beginning, so that I don't need to make the changes later. I'm writing, putting the citations according to their journal's requirement. Okay, formatting, what is the 12 font, 10 font, what is the American English or British English, all the things. So I want to know all the things beforehand. So I'm writing, I'm following the requirements. So by the time I finish, it's ready, almost ready, in terms of formatting, in terms of the requirements, citations, references, in bibliography, policy. Some journals, they don't allow footnotes. They only require endnotes. So if you try to look into those requirements from the beginning, then you do not have to do a lot of hard work in the end. Because when you are writing footnotes for a journal, you have chosen does not allow footnotes. They only accept endnotes. Then in the end, once you finish, again you have to change all your footnotes into endnotes, which is a lot of hard work, time-consuming work. So if you follow from the beginning, then it becomes less tiresome work. Yeah. I hope that helps. I'm selecting how to select it.
Okay.
Thank you for your explanation, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, another participant in here, maybe the offline on-site. Any question? Okay, Miss Anissa. Yes, please.
Your name, still continue students, we have to publish. So I have several friends for to be sure actually. And the first one is sometimes when you write a topic, people do not find the it is when you as you say it is. So how important it is to make sure your paper is beautiful, make sure people will see the way you see things. I mean, you really have to make it so basic, so you have to really start from the beginning, or you can just ignore that and just focus on what you want to write. And that still questioning about how did you study this program? Um, which one is more convenient? I mean, the more specific one or the more general one?
You mean in terms of title?
The scope.
The scope.
Like, I am coming from criminal law, so it is more convenient for me to select the journal that specific for criminal perspective only, or like average worker, I assume is the general one.
Yes.
So which one is more convenient for our students interest? And after that, when you want to publish a paper, you have to pay personal publication fee.
Right.
But then I did discuss with my friends that there are some other schemes that you can publish your paper for free. But the consequences is the paper will be closed access.
Sorry?
The paper will be closed access.
Closed access.
Closed access. People, it will affect the number of your year, but how it will consequence for my benefits. I mean, I think it is really something I have to consider. So I have to start saving up and pay, or this is something that if I can make sure my paper is healthy for holidays or another thing. Yeah. Yes. You just mentioned that some paper, some journal is very specific, and some other are very more. Let's say one critical, and then we very you can suggest some paper that more perspective or maybe progressive because I would like to work together.
Right. Okay, so the beginning from the end. So last question. Yeah, so some journals are, as I said, very kind of very narrow focus, very positivistic. So generally, the journals, some of the journals which are old, like Cambridge Journal, or if you look into like Law Portal Review, if you look into like Oxford Journal of Legal Studies, are highly ranked, highly rated. So if you can publish in those journals, definitely your research and your paper will be highly regarded. I'm not saying they are not rigorous, they are absolutely rigorous, okay? But they only publish certain type of research, certain type of writing, certain type of certain type of approach. There are some that are very broad-minded, open-minded. They are more accommodative in terms of new approaches, interdisciplinary approaches, social science, based law and social science based journals like social and legal studies. journal of law and society. So there are law and society review, law and social inquiry, law and the humanities. There are many actually. There are many journals nowadays which are very open-minded. They are open to ideas, open to interdisciplinary legal research and writing. So obviously, it depends. I said it depends on your paper, how your paper fits within the scope of those open-minded, interdisciplinary law journals. So that is the decision you have to make. And in terms of publishing Cambridge or Oxford journals, there are even some extent American law journals quite conservative in that sense. But I must say they are rigorous. They are absolutely rigorous, but they only publish very limited number of limited legal writing, more looking more positivistic approach that kind of articles. So nowadays also there are many open access channels which does not really charge any fees, but they are equally high quality. They are equally highly reputed. So even you can consider publishing those journals, but they're open access, they're not charging fees. And so this is linked with your third question that whether you should pay fees. Okay? Generally, there are two types of fees you keep in mind. Some journals only charge fees for publishing. Right? Some journals they charge fees for open access. There are two different types. So some journals they will charge, as long as you pay that fee, they will publish anything. Whether your paper is good quality, bad quality, so within 15 days of publish. I know there are no journals they publish in 7 days. You submit today, within 7 days your paper is published. Because if you pay $100, please avoid those. There is no I know those journals. I have read articles published in those journals, absolutely horrible quality. Even poor English, the writing of English is poor, no editing, no proofreading, there are grammatical errors, there is no clear arguments, absolutely horrible error. Please avoid. If you want to kind of make your writing at least some standard, you want to prove, because I said it is your personal. It's your personal. What exactly you want to show to the world about you? We want to publish solid standard writing, just like paying fees. As I said, once you publish, it remains. It will never go away. So if you publish now a solid standard article, paying the fees, and let's say after 2 years, you publish a highly regarded paper in another very highly reputed journal, but that doesn't make any better because you already published something which is very poor and substandard. It will remain. You cannot do anything about it. Once it's published, people will read it. People will make a judgment about it. Okay, so please avoid those journals at any cost. We call them predatory journals. They publish anything for money. Okay? And another type of fees is that there are journals where you can publish. Okay, if you do not pay any fees, your publication will be closed access. But if you pay for the open access, your article will be open access. But generally, the journal does not charge any fees for publication, only for open access. They are different. So many good journals like Copyright, Sage, Publications, Taylor and Francis, and many other Elsevier, they have an open access policy. Okay, so you do not want to pay any fees, they will publish your paper because your paper is high quality. But your paper will not be open access. Now, one option is that whether your institution is kind of going to pay the open access fees for it. And there's a benefit for the institution because, as you say, that if your paper is open access, it is going to be read by more people. It is easily available. And that ultimately it is read by more people, ultimately they get to know that you are a PhD scholar or a lecturer in USP, right? So they get to your institution's name is actually publicized, right? So whether there is many institutions nowadays have laws that if your paper is published in a certain journal, they are happy to provide you the fund for open access. That is one option. If there is no option, I understand many universities, most universities in developing countries are no fund, limited fund, so that is acceptable. So second way of making your writing more visible is that most good quality journals, they allow you to publish your manuscript, accepted manuscript, the proofreading stage. So what happens is that if you submit your manuscript to a journal, okay, your manuscript will go through a peer review. Okay. Peer review comes, with the review and comments and feedbacks come to you. You revise, you resubmit. Let's say your paper is accepted. Now your paper will go to the production stage, means formatting and all those things. So once your paper is formatted, then the journal will say here to check everything is fine. Okay. Whether there is any error or anything. Okay. One, if you say is that everything is fine, no problem at all. Okay. Most journals allow you to publish that proofread paper on your website. So if you have a website, whether academia or Google Scholar, or many other university website, if you have a profile. So most journals allow you to publish that copy, not the published copy, but that copy. So in the accepted copy, you can mention journal name and all these things are there. So when you search for it, people can read your paper, but when they want to cite, they need to go back to the published version. Third way is doing it easy. The journal you're publishing, they don't allow the actor to publish. Still, you have the manuscript. So most journals allow you to publish your publications. You put your accepted manuscript on your website. And if you mentioned, this is the journal volume number, issue number, page number, accepted version. Okay. It is still available to others. They can read your paper. They probably, when they want to cite, they need to go to the published order. Okay, so that solves it's not your problem that open access, closed access, all the issues. And the second question, I think you are saying you're concerned that when you look into your paper, when you look into your research, and you feel that okay, my research is not something nothing interesting as compared to the others. I think, as I said, I think it's a process of research. So research, I mean, research paper is not like that you write and then it immediately becomes publishable or it immediately becomes accepted. So there are a number of questions you should ask. Is it ready for publication? If you think it is not ready or ready for publication, why not ready for publication? What is missing? Probably you need to go for more revision. Okay. One good way or different ways, you give it to your professor for reading, for comments and feedback. You can give it to your colleagues for reading and feedback. The more feedback, more comments you can get, the better. Finally, if you think that it is almost ready, you think it is ready for publication, you submit it to us. Now, what happens is that either it will come back with a lot of comments and feedback that it is publishable after revision. Minor revision, major revision, whatever it is, it comes when your paper comes back with a lot of comments and feedback. And that is, I know that sometimes these comments, as I said, they are ruthless, they are demoralizing. But I come to realize that actually these comments are a learning experience. So treat those comments as learning experience that you're learning. You're still, you're probably, the way your reviewer looking into your paper, you are not in that frame, that lens yet. And you have to go through that lens. So take it as a learning experience, okay? And try to revise as much as you can. Then you will be submit with your detailed response that, okay, this is the way I have revised. I have taken into consideration these comments, but I am not really comfortable or not really convinced that I need to do this review or revision because this. Okay? It doesn't mean that you receive all the comments and you have to accept everything. Okay? You can respond to the editor that, okay, I have revised in this way. I have taken into consideration these comments, but not these because I'm not convinced because of this reasons. That is the way. If your paper is rejected, don't get this out. That happens very often. Even many papers get rejected. By the way, I don't know how many of you know. I was very recently, J.K. Rowling, who published Harry Potter. His book was rejected by 12 publishers in the beginning. And she is a only billionaire publisher in the world. Means who earns billions is a publisher. She's the only one. And obviously, a different genre of writing, but still, she succeeded. So 12 publishers rejected our manuscript in the beginning. Then finally she published. And it became, now everything is success, right? So don't get this happening. It happens to all of us. It happens even the most experienced researchers, professors. There's nothing wrong with it. Just submit it in another journal. Because one journal doesn't. I have seen comments on my paper. One reviewer, so double blind review. One reviewer said there's nothing in my paper. Another reviewer said no, there is this paper is original. It can happen. So you can see the perspective. One reviewer says there's nothing new. Another said no, this is a new paper. This is original. But I need to kind of revise these. So it happens. Rejection, sorry, maybe you can take into consideration why they have rejected their comments and feedback, and revise them again, make it better. And then study another journal. I know authors whose papers rejected by some journals, and they have mentioned that I submitted this paper to those journals, they rejected it, and then finally my paper got accepted in this journal in the author's note. So there's nothing wrong with it. First question we're asking.
What one is which one gives the more specific scope, like non-humanities or
Journal scope. A scope. You have to kind of understand. It is your decision that why exactly you want to publish. So recently I'm working still working on it, I still to revise. And I know that if I submit, obviously I want to publish in a Q1 journal, but I know that if I submit this paper to a Q1 journal, they will reject it because it's not simply it's not a high standard, but simply the scope. Okay. So I deliberately chose a Q2 journal where I know there's a better chance of publishing. Because and that's also a conscious decision that rather than submitting a Q1 journal where probably it has a limited chance of publishing, might get longer, might come back with a lot of comments. Why not I submit a Q2 journal, which I know the journal, and I know what they publish, and I'm sure that if I submit them, they will accept the result. So it is also kind of gambling that making a decision that where I should submit it. And especially for beginner, those who are beginner, those who are still not in the publishing system. As a PhD researcher, many universities have criteria at how many you have to publish, whether you have to publish in Scopus or whether any publication is acceptable. That you also need to keep in mind. So if your university is saying that you have to publish in Scopus, Scopus is a very, I don't know whether you know the list of the Scopus journals in law. As far as I know, I think right now, Scopus has a 700 law journals. 700 law journals are indexed in Scopus. You have a wider choice. As long as you fulfill the Scopus, you just publish a Scopus. I know many, well, don't take it seriously, but I know many academics nowadays publish in Scopus in various journals, but the journal has actually one because it's in Scopus. So you make a decision. Well, what is exactly the requirement of the university? Whether you publish in Scopus. So if you go to the schema journal listing, it will show you that which journals are on Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So there are journals from Q1, Q3, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So even those journals here in Q4, they're Scopus index. Okay. But so you can still choose journals which are friendly. I don't say they're bad, but I say they're more student friendly. Those who are more friendly or more exchange or accepting papers from new researchers, young researchers, PhD scholars. So you can choose those journals. And there's a good saying in academia, publish or perish. So rather than targeting very high in the beginning of your career, just think about publishing. Even if it is not in a Scopus, as long as the journal is at least some standard. So for example, like Indonesian Journal of International, the Scopus index, and it's a good journal. Right? A number of journals in Indonesia, the Scopus index, and they are publisher friendly. We can consider publishing. There are many journals in India, some in Europe, which are publisher friendly. There's Scopus index, but at the same time, they are more accommodating to researchers, papers which are coming from fund world and developing countries. So we can talk about them. So in the beginning, probably we have to kind of keep your site not that high, on the ground, but as you publish, keep publishing, editors, readers know you. You can think about more higher public publication. And writing is obviously a matter of practice. The more you write, the more your writing becomes better. So as you keep writing, publishing, writing, your writing becomes better. By the time you become more experienced of it, you will target more high standard channels.
Thank you very much.
Okay, maybe another. In the offline, online, in the Zoom meeting, can you give some questions? Yes?
Oh yeah. Okay, Lisa, come on. Okay,
Yeah.
nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lisa. Currently, I'm a master's student here. So, first of all, I would like to say that I'm very glad to know your academic journey. You're starting as a research assistant, as you say, and you become a lecturer. It's very inspiring. So, I want to raise questions about the journal. I find out that you have published a book review in Sage Journal. This was your study. Yeah, and I had the same experience. I already had letter of acceptance in International Criminal Justice Review Journal, P1 Scopus, and it will be published within 3 weeks. But I would like to ask questions about your experience in when you writing in book review and article research because it's a different.
Yes. Yes.
I want to know about is it has is it has the same challenges when we write a book review and article research regarding treatment review from the reviewer, because as my experience writing book review in international criminal justice, I feel like it's not as difficult as people say because they do a review and it's I always receive a notification and it's very helpful the instruction. So I would like to know is it has the same challenges when we write article research in international journal or is it only book review had their treatment? Is it my question?
I think it's more easy to publish book review because book reviews are not generally peer review because book reviews are short pieces, right? Yeah, like 2,000 words or 2,500 words, and the book review doesn't really go through double blind review peer review. The decision is made by that doesn't mean that it is a bit of 4 points. The book review is generally reviewed by the editors, the journal editors. So it's like the book review editor or the chief editor, they read your book review and they make a decision. So obviously they are obviously looking at the quality of writing and all those things. But when it comes to research article, they go through much more rigorous, peer review, means blind peer review, which is lengthy, means takes time. Okay, but I would say from another point of view that I found myself that sometimes writing a book review is more difficult than writing a journal because when you're writing a book review, you are actually writing not just a review of the book, but also you are giving a perspective, how the author wrote, or whether the author is missing something, or failing to actually make a credible argument, what is the shortcoming of the book. So you need more expertise, equal expertise of the author, that you actually know the subject, right? You have the mastery of the book or the subject you're writing about. So I sometimes found that writing a book review is more difficult than writing a research paper because in a research paper you simply chose a topic which is interesting. You narrow down your focus. You identify some research questions which you want to kind of explore or investigate and answer. You start writing. But book review is more focused on the author's writing. Someone has written a book, right? And that book has gone through review, right? So when I submit my manuscript, my book manuscript to the publisher, they will go there. My manuscript will go to 3 or 4 reviewers. They review the book. Then it is published. Now you are writing a comment on that book that is already reviewed by 4 reviewers, is already published, and now you are giving comments or highlighting the shortcomings of the problem with the book. So I find it sometimes more difficult than writing down an article. Okay? But when it comes to publications, book reviews are treated a bit less in terms of standard from the research article, because research articles are lengthy, maybe 10,000 words, 20 pages or 25 pages. So in terms of acceptance, research article is more accepted or highly regarded than the book review. But if you write a review essay, which is writing a review of 2 books or 3 books together, then it becomes long. Sometimes 6,000 words, sometimes even equal to an article. That goes through blind peer review. Okay, that is equally regarded as an, as a kind of research article. So that is also regarded, but in my experience, even I have published book review and cited I have written not only book reviews, but book reviews are also cited. Means generally book reviews are not cited. And many people people are in readers don't read book reviews. They read only research articles. But in my case, I have published book reviews which are kind of read and cited by other scholars. So it depends on what type of book review you are writing. Whether it's simply a book review or it is a review essay, if it is a review essay, better. And compared to the research articles, obviously, research article is generally are called peer review. So that makes a difference. That some your publications are peer reviewed, that means research article, book reviews, obviously, are not peer reviewed. But that doesn't mean it is not a standard. Book reviews are equally or good as so it's your choice. So I would say those who are new into like PhD students, PhD scholars, generally they start with the book review. So then start your because when you write a lengthy piece, you are still learning to write. You are still learning to write. And when you write a lengthy piece, longer piece, it becomes difficult in terms of structure or organization. Arguments are not clear, so it takes longer to publish a research article for a new research. So book review is shorter; it can be published more quickly, more easily. So you keep the ball rolling. So initially you publish 1, 2, 3, whatever. You need to make your name, right? That you are in research. You are in the academia. So book reviews that give you that name. Okay. Then we move on to more focused research article. So book reviews are good for in the beginning that you are in the series, but you are serious about publishing. Right? Because book reviews are also considered as publications. And when you publish book reviews, it gives the impression that you are serious about how you want to publish. So in the beginning, think about, I'm not saying you should not, write your paper. You should, you need to. Okay? Sometimes you are writing a paper, if you think, okay, it will take more time for you, that's what you do. Even for us, when you think, okay, I'm writing a paper, but it will take probably 6 months, I'm not very enough time to finish it, to focus on it, just write a book review. I'll just quick, within a month, I can finish it. It gets published within 2 days. It's quick, easy. So my name, at least, is rolling. Because if you don't publish at an academia, maybe in the academia for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, people will not consider you that you are in that range. So let's keep the ball rolling. Writing book review. Also, I think in the academia, it is considered more valuable if you have a diverse set of activities, not just research articles, but also reviewers, book reviews. Also, so you must have diverse experience of life. So you should consider both.
Okay, so if I may conclude, there's a different duration process.
Yeah,
With book review more
quick. It's more quick.
Quick,
Yeah.
quicker than.
Yeah, as I say, some journals, they take a long time. Even if your article is accepted, they would say, oh, your article will be published in 2027, issue number 3, that is in 2025.
But sir, initially, in Indonesian journal, sometimes we need to wait
Yeah,
6
6
months
months,
to publish,
4 months.
even 1 year.
Mm.
So in international journal, how about it?
Well, sometimes, sometimes depends on the number of issues. Okay, so some journals are publishing 3 issues per year, 4 issues per year. Some journals have 6 issues per year. Even there are journals that have 12 issues per year. That's every month. So there are more rolling. Okay? But it also depends on how quickly a journal reviews your paper. Okay? So some journals is 3 weeks or 8 weeks, 4 weeks. So you think on, clearly that what exactly do you want to publish or submit your manuscript in a journal which takes 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or do you want to submit your paper let's say a journal which takes only 4 weeks? And you make that decision. And sometimes what happens is that nowadays, so if you have let's say 3 manuscripts. So you are submitting, you are completing continuously, and you are submitting continuously. In that case, we should think, okay, one of my article is already accepted, it's coming out. In that, it's okay, one is coming out. So in another case, if it takes longer, I have no problem. Okay? Because nowadays, the universities, they want to see how many you are publishing every year. So in that case, you think, okay, I need to show 2 this year, then you think carefully. If you think, okay, one is enough, maybe the other one will come out next year, that is fine. You can decide that.
We need to produce more.
Yeah. More books, more and more.
Okay. Maybe another in the class. Another. Maybe in a Zoom.
Yeah, is there any?
In Zoom meeting. Any questions? Okay, to all the participants in Zoom meeting, maybe another questions talking about your dissertation, maybe the topic your dissertations.
Anything.
Maybe it's hard to find out the problems and how to resolve this. You can you can share and discuss with Cynthia.
Yes, thanks, Miss Moderator.
Yes.
Thanks to Prof. Ningrum and Bu Devi who initiate this wonderful event. I have question to Dr. Mizanur. The first question is, what is the main characteristic to make a deep research for dissertation? So it will different with thesis or research paper on undergraduate student. And the second, it's about my dissertation topic. It's about how to construct a new institution like consultative bodies for regional head. So what about if our idea get a feedback like this research will give impact for state finances and hyper institution. But I think when we construct a new idea, new institution, when we need it, it's like a novelty for the dissertation. So what do you think about it? Back to the moderator, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first question is, I think, how to kind of change the dissertation into public evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, that a thesis is very different from a book. Okay? So generally, many students consider or think about that to transform or kind of modify the dissertation into a book or a manuscript or sometimes called monograph. So this is a very different process of how to. So, for example, in the dissertation, probably you need to write quite a lot about your methodology. When you're writing a book or a monograph, you do not really need to write a lot about your methodology. The methodology can be very short. So this is a very different process of how to transform your PhD thesis into a monograph or a book, which is once you finish your PhD, then you can think about it. And sometimes it depends on the publisher. So you need to approach a publisher. So many publishers have a very specific scheme or a specific approach to publishing a dissertation. So then the publisher will guide you that they have a specific publication form. And you need to fill up that form. In the form, you need to mention, okay, this is my PhD thesis or dissertation. I want to publish it, and there are some conditions and criteria. And as long as you can describe properly that your dissertation has a publishing quality, and it fulfills the publisher's conditions or criteria, many publishers actually publish a PhD thesis or a PhD dissertation. And it's a different scheme. Okay? And there is a very good resource, if I remember, is that the European University Institute is in Italy, Florence. They have published a manual or a kind of guideline how to transform your PhD thesis into a monograph. Okay? And this document is freely available. If any of you want to have a copy, I can forward it to you. So this document actually gives suggestions and guidelines how you can change your PhD thesis into a book, into a monograph. But it's really a different journey. Okay. Now, one important aspect you need to keep in mind, as I said, that your dissertation, PhD thesis, has a very limited audience. Okay? And publisher always think about business. Okay? They think about business because they are spending money, they are investing money on your project. Okay? If your book does not sell, they will not be able to recover their investment. Okay? So they think about the market of the book. What exactly is the market for your book? Is it going to sell in Asia, in Africa, in Europe? Well, we need to demonstrate that my book has some important ideas. It will sell in the market. Okay? Because they only think about their business. Okay? They don't care that how significant, how interesting your idea. Okay? They only think about that whether your idea is sellable, whether your ideas can be sold in the market. Okay? So they think about the business. So as long as you can, that's where you need to make the changes. Your presentation is very focused, very limited, a limited audience. But when it comes to the book, you need to revise your book significantly. A significant revision is required of your dissertation to make a book which can be sold. Because publishers only think about selling it so that they can recover the money they have invested in your project. Because ultimately, it is them who is going to binding, typesetting, cover design, so many things, So they're spending money, right? So they want to recover. Okay? So those things are there, but there are some documents which provide suggestions and guidelines how to change your dissertation into a book. Okay. So for example, I thought many times that I want to change my book into change my dissertation into a book, but I simply do not have that because it requires substantial revision, changes, editing. I didn't get the time because I'm a full-time job. So I do not speak, but I'm still, it is still in my mind that I want to change my dissertation into a book. But because I didn't do it because it requires substantial investment of my time. Probably 6 months or 1 year to make it. Further research, further revision, thinking about my audience, probably revising some of the ideas, some of the arguments. It takes time. Okay. I think second question was more.
The second question is, what is your topics, your dissertation, Miss Cynthia?
Yeah, it's about construct a new institution in local government consultative bodies for regional head.
Okay, how to make your research original? How to make your research kind of unique, right?
Yeah.
How you can make your research more original, something new, something unique?
She needs idea for this dissertation. Yeah.
Dissertation, right. Okay, so I didn't discuss actually in the slides. It's not in the slides, but I have discussed somewhere else that so originality. That we always talk about the your research on the original. If it is not original, if there is nothing new, it's not a PhD dissertation. But you need to keep in mind that originality is a great concept. There is no definition of originality. Okay? And we say in that there is nothing original in this world. Nothing falls from the sky, only something falls from the sky can be original, which we don't know, right? And then if we don't know, then there is something new. But as far as we know everything. So it is very difficult to create something original which you do not know, which no one knows. So what we say is that originality can be created.
Yeah.
You can create some originality. So there are different ways of doing or making your research original. Okay? So I generally talk about there are 4 ways of making your research original. One is that when you are exploring a topic, read the topic more carefully, more broadly, as much as you can. Okay? Then try to identify that what others have done, okay, and what's not yet done. So, for example, you might find on your topic others have written, some other researchers have looked into only case laws, only legal documents, only legal provisions, and then probably you can say that okay, they have looked into these case laws, these law legislations, or these codes. I am looking into the same problem from another perspective. There may be a different method. Someone has done, let's say, from a doctrinal point of view, doctrinal research. You can say that okay, I'm looking into the same problem, same issue, but from a different point of view, maybe from human rights law perspective, or I want to apply a very different method, or I am borrowing some theory from another discipline to examine the other issue or to investigate the issue. That will make your research original. Because let's say I have looked into the issue of the issue of migration, illegal migration, from feminist point of view. But you can say, I am looking into the same issue of illegal migration from a socio-legal point of view. Means collecting some empirical, but that will make your research original because no other researchers have looked into the same issue from a socio-legal point of view. You can say that some other researchers have looked into the issue of illegal migration, let's say focusing on Jakarta. But you are looking into the same issue, focusing only on Medan. That will make your research original. Because your focus is on Medan. Previous research looked into Jakarta. Okay? That will make your research original. The second way of making original, borrowing some other ideas, theories, concepts from other disciplines, making it interdisciplinary. So once you bring some ideas, theories, or concepts from other disciplines and make your research interdisciplinary, your topic will become something very different. Your arguments will become different. Your focus will become different, and therefore your writing, your final findings or final statements will also become different. So your research will become original. So you can actually create your research, you can make your research original if you think more creatively. So you just need to think, you just need to focus on your topic, read as much as you can, okay? Reading, widely as many literature as you can gather, and read them carefully, and then thinking carefully that what has been done, what has been said before, okay? Sometimes we call it literature review. So you do a literature review, as widely as many as you can. Then you think, carefully that how I can make it original. Let's say limiting the topic or thinking about the topic in a different way, maybe a different research method, a different legal approach, or maybe making it interdisciplinary. Okay? So in that way, you can make your topic, or you can make the thought, look like original. I'm not saying that it is original, but as I said, there is nothing original, but look like original, because ultimately you just need to convince your supervisor. As long as your supervisor is convinced that your research is original, it is original. and your examiner. As long as your supervisor and examiner is convinced, they're happy. Your research is original. That's it. Then what happens after PhD? That's a different question. Don't think about it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all, Miss Cynthia.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So it's the 4:20. So it's time up because we already over that based on the times.
I have no problem.
Okay, because on the schedule from 2 p.m.
Yeah, but
till
this
4
suddenly
p.m.
ends.
Yeah, suddenly
Yes, it's okay.
it's okay. Okay, thank you for participating in this today.
I will share the slide. Using the slides,
Okay.
you will find many more things, okay, which the time, and I don't discuss all of them, which I mentioned in the slides. But if you read them, if you go to the slides, you will find more ideas and more steps that you can think about that you can follow.
Okay, I will share the slides in our chat room. I will share. Yeah, you find out in your chat room.
Yeah, some slides might not be clear. I will go briefly.
Yeah.
I thought that I will explain in the class, so it might not be.
It's okay.
Clear. But if they have any questions, they can send me questions. I will have to explain.
Okay. Ini selesai. Okay, this is time.
Bisa dipotong nggak?
Okay.
Tunggu dulu, wait until you download.
Kita tunggu sebentar.
Ya, tunggu masih.
We were waiting for a while because still loading. Okay. Okay. Finished all the presentations has been shown in our chat room. Thank you for participating to all the participants in our Zoom meeting. We hope there's any event like this. Any event like this, I hope so. In other times. So thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, ma'am. See you.
See you. Okay, you can out from.
Oh, foto bareng berdiri di depan.
Thank you. See you.
Mau gimana cara di luar aja?
Oh ya. Okay.
Nanti kamu masukin.
Ini tadi ada foto.
Kita ke bawah.
Bisa live ya? Bisa live.